Cleveland.
Fun times of Cleveland again.
Still Cleveland.
Come on down to Cleveland.
Fun times in Cleveland today. Still Cleveland. Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. Come and look at both of our buildings. Buy some food that's prepared near the street. Who knows, you might even see this guy. You should come on down.
I just realized this isn't as funny without the video to watch.
Well, that's okay. We can put it in the description.
Right, yeah.
In the description. Hello, everybody. This is Marginally Qualified, sports talk show where we share our opinions on the week in sports. I'm Grant.
I'm Bernie.
That's Bernie. Today is July 27th. Am I right?
Yeah, you are.
July 27th. Bit of a shorter rundown, it seems.
Yeah, nothing really happened this week.
Not a whole lot substantive happened.
It's a lot of chitters of things.
There'll be a lot more speculation than actually stuff going on. We'll talk about Cleveland situation with Kyrie Irving wanting to leave. We'll talk about Paris Saint-Germain. We'll talk about
U.S. Gold Cup
US
and
Gold
how
Cup.
it means that America is the best team in the world.
We'll talk a little bit about the upcoming MLB trade deadline. And we'll see where it goes from there.
Right.
Right. Why don't we jump right on in?
Talking about Kyrie.
Kyrie Irving.
LeBron's little brother. Or not? Question mark? Who knows? I guess he hates LeBron James with every ounce of his being.
Cavaliers all-star point guard Kyrie Irving has reportedly, and this report has been confirmed multiple times, I think, right?
Yeah.
It's not a
It's not-
secret anymore.
It's not a secret.
Yeah.
Right?
Made a trade request to the Cavs front office last week. He wants to get out of Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
What is going on here?
The Cavs are imploding a year earlier than they were supposed to implode. I think that's what's happening. This is the beginning of the end for Cleveland. You know, all of their contracts run up in the next 2-3 years. I think Kyrie sees that that's going to happen. I think he heard the rumblings that LeBron is going to leave, and, you know, everyone's saying this. So he's just trying to get out ahead of the curve, you know. Doesn't want to be in Cleveland for another 3 years, right? He's got 3 years, 2 more years on his contract, 2 or 3. Can't quite remember.
Yeah. Why don't you look that up?
Yeah.
And in the meantime, it goes without saying that the most obvious, or like the first reaction that we all had was
Why?
that he wants to be the central figure on his own team.
That was, well,
Right.
my reaction was why.
It's not about money for him.
Right.
That's not why he wants to leave. He'd be in line for the Supermax.
He's on through the 2019-2020 season.
It's certainly not about being on a contending team.
Right.
He's been in the finals 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
The only thing left is that he doesn't want to be in LeBron's shadow
Right.
anymore. And you can go this 2 ways. One of my old basketball coaches used to tell me that everyone wants to win, but fewer people want to win on other people's terms,
Okay.
right? And maybe you can look at this as saying Kyrie's being selfish here and he only wants to win if he can be the man, which we see in basketball a lot. And if that's the case, then I think it's fair to lose a little bit of respect for it that way. But going back to what you were talking about, if you put it in the way of people talking about LeBron leaving and then LeBron just leaving a huge mess in the organization, because let's be real, it's like a tornado went through there and it's mostly LeBron's fault.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to get stuck in there. He doesn't want his first shot to be the man like he wants to be with that mess.
Right. You know, it's fair to want to be the man, and it's fair to want to be the man with a decent squad behind you. Something I think is hilarious about this whole situation is Kyrie Irving put out this list of teams he wants to be traded to. And people are looking at that, and they're like, oh, here's what will happen if he goes to the Spurs or the Knicks. He really wants to go to the Knicks. Everyone's reporting how, like, he really wants to go to the Knicks, and Knicks fans are like, oh, yeah, let's get Kyrie. It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what Kyrie wants. And I think that's important. He doesn't have a no-trade clause. He can be sent literally anywhere.
Yeah.
I see so many fans talking about this list, and the list doesn't matter at all.
No, Cleveland's going to get what
Cleveland's
they
going to
want.
get Cleveland's going to get the best deal they can get from literally any team.
Yeah.
Like-
Does him wanting to leave a team that's been in the finals 3 years in a row bother you at all?
Yeah, it does to a degree. There was this interview with I think it was Damian Lillard, who said he was kind of jealous of Kyrie,
Yeah.
and that this situation confused him because he never has made it past the second round of the playoffs, and he's just there are these guys that are like trying to make it that far into the playoffs, and Kyrie is getting a pass to play in the finals every year.
Right, and that's
I don't want to say getting a pass. He's a critical part of that Cleveland squad.
Yeah.
But it's just it's ridiculous to see someone pass up the chance to win and the chance to get more money. Normally, those are the two things that people go after. Money and championships, and he's in a position to continue to make both.
It is
next year.
Yeah, for the next year, and that's where it stops, though, right?
Right, that's where it stops.
He's going to be 28 by the time he's an unrestricted free agent. LeBron leaves next year, which we don't know if he's.
We don't know if that's going to happen.
We don't know if he's going to do.
I mean, if Kyrie leaves this year, if Kyrie gets traded this year, then LeBron will leave next year. He will.
Irving, to me, this is less about wanting to be the man and more about making sure his career doesn't stall, right? As much as LeBron wants to pretend that, like, he's not in, wants to tell people that, like, oh, he's not in the front office, that's fine. He is a control freak.
Yeah.
And the fact that he only signs 1-year deals so he can control his situation.
I mean, it's proof.
Yeah. It puts a lot of pressure on the other players, right? And it's not fair to tell Kyrie that he can't also try to control his situation. He's trying to control his career. He wants to take that next step. I get he's fine sacrificing a shot at the championship this year to make sure he's not stalled and controlled by other people years down the road.
Right. But what I just don't understand is why it's coming this year.
Not next year.
And not next year. I'm very confused. I mean, maybe he just couldn't take it anymore being the number 2 guy. But it's not about being the number 2 guy.
And if that's the case,
let's be real.
That's not a great move on his part.
Right.
Can't.
So maybe that's not the case. Let's be 100% real. It's not about him not wanting to be the number 2 guy. It's about him not wanting to play with LeBron. That's what it has to be. Because some of the teams he listed, he obviously wouldn't be the number 1 guy. If he goes to the Spurs, who is on his list, they have Kawhi Leonard. Like, you're not going to be the number 1 guy when you're playing with a MVP finalist. You're not going to be the number 1 guy when you're playing with the best 2-way player in the league. You go over to the Timberwolves. They've got a young superstar in Karl Anthony Towns. Coming into his own.
Yeah.
And I think he has more potential than Kyrie Irving. And
so
they already have Jimmy Butler on that team too, who is a better player all around. So it's clear it's not a number 2 thing. I think he just didn't want to come out and say, I'm tired of playing with LeBron.
Do you think he's tired of being on the court with LeBron, or he's tired of being under LeBron's control?
I think it's, I don't know. I really don't know. It might be a combination of both. But if you think about it, LeBron is really the perfect player to pair with Kyrie. Kyrie is a score-first point guard. So when you have another player on the court like LeBron to facilitate the passing and the playmaking, he's really it's a great duo. Yeah. It's a great 1-2 punch because it takes the burden off of Kyrie to make plays and just allows him to focus on what he loves to do.
Yeah. Do you think this is a basketball decision or a business decision?
It's got to be a business decision.
Right.
Kyrie goes off by himself. He becomes more marketable, maybe more popular. I can't imagine.
Yeah, I can't imagine
why
it's
else?
because he's sick of playing with LeBron.
Right.
Right. If you're sick of playing with LeBron and you're losing, that's one thing.
But LeBron doesn't
3 years in a
lose.
row. I hope it's not. I hope it's not a basketball decision. It sure doesn't seem like one.
Right. It seems like a more personal decision.
Yeah.
Also, Cleveland is an awful town.
Yeah, let's not rule out the possibility that he just doesn't want to live in Cleveland.
Yeah, I was recently in Cleveland
Fun
It's
times
awful.
in Cleveland again.
No, there were no fun times in Cleveland.
Come on down to Cleveland town, everyone. So where does Cleveland stand now? They're still the top dogs in the East. No Kyrie.
They're still without Kyrie. Well, right now they do have Kyrie, so they're still the top dogs in the East. It's not like Kyrie's going to play poorly next year if they don't trade him. I don't think he will. Maybe there'll be some chemistry issues, actually.
I
I'm not really sure.
can't imagine them keeping him now.
But why would they trade him? Just keep him for the next year. And if things don't look good, then just trade him mid-season. It's an option. You know, if they come back and there's clearly a chemistry problem, then get rid of him. You know what I mean? And
Okay, if you're...
Because there's not much you can do to improve your team if you're Cleveland in the immediate time frame without dealing Kyrie, right?
I say you have to deal him.
Why not just hold on to him for half a season? Think about it this way, right? Let's look at the two scenarios.
Yeah.
They keep him.
Mm-hmm.
All right, they keep him. You go into the season. Scenario one: chemistry is gone. Team is playing horribly. There's tension in the locker room.
Yeah.
Then in mid-season, you trade him, and you might not be the best team in the East anymore. It might be Boston. It's very likely it's Boston, right? It's a serious, realistic thing. So you trade him, and Boston ends up winning the East. Now let's look at the other situation, which would be things go well, and they just go through the East again. They just fucking roll through the entire conference.
Yeah.
Those are the two situations. If you deal them before the season starts, then your team is just significantly worse going into the season unless you can get a valuable piece for him. And the Cavaliers, as an organization, probably won't trade him straight up for another valuable piece as long as that piece is over a certain age. You understand what I'm trying to say? Cavaliers need to start rebuilding with youth at this point because they have an imminent fall coming up. We can all see that. So my argument is if the Cavs trade him, they shouldn't be trying to win next year. They should be trying to get as many young players as possible. Or
I think you're operating under the assumption that LeBron's leaving.
I am.
Because as
I'm
long as you
operating
have
under the assumption that LeBron is
LeBron,
leaving.
you should be in win now mode.
I guess that's fair. I'm operating under the assumption that LeBron is leaving. That is true.
Yeah.
Because I think that with Kyrie doing all this stuff, he's gonna leave. I think that this is, leading to LeBron leaving. And when he does leave and he joins the Spurs
Stop.
for a huge pay cut, they'll be unstoppable.
What if they unload Kyrie for a piece and they use that extra money to bring in another, though?
Who are they going to sign?
I don't know. Just like theoretically.
Wait.
Let's just think about it.
Okay. Hear me out.
Right? So let's say they
Crazy
trade,
idea time.
trade for like a cheaper point guard.
Well,
I don't know who is a cheaper point guard.
Stay with me here. Kyrie leaves, right?
Don't do it.
They trade for some young players, and then they wait a season. And then with the money, they sign Russell Westbrook, free agent, going to Cleveland. Then he meets Kevin Durant in the finals, and it's the clash of the century. Clash of the century. Russell Westbrook to Cleveland.
You couldn't script that stuff.
You couldn't script it because people would say it's too ridiculous. No, realistically, that's not going to happen.
No.
Realistically, they'll probably trade for a young point guard. If they do I think the New York deal might actually make the most sense. Either that or the deal with Phoenix that people are talking about.
Bledsoe one?
The Bledsoe deal. I think the Bledsoe deal makes sense too.
What if somehow they pulled the Bledsoe one? Chicago buys out Dwayne Wade. And then he's on the market.
Then you pick up Dwayne Wade.
And you get Dwayne Wade.
And then, Chris Bosh has been talking about coming back out of retirement.
Oh, no.
He has. That's a legitimate thing, hasn't he?
No.
There have been reports saying that Chris Bosh is considering coming out of retirement because he's been healthy recently.
Oh, you know what?
So
I guess Ray Allen's still considering coming out of retirement too, so why not just get Ray Allen as well?
that's a good point.
And Mike Miller.
Right, Mike Miller, the critical piece, and Mario Chalmers, part of the Big Four. Reunite the Heat,
Yeah.
just in a shittier city.
Yeah.
So
It's a pretty shitty city. I've never been, so I can't say that.
I'm giving Cleveland too much crap.
Yeah.
It's a fine place.
I'm sure it's fine.
It's not fine. No, it's fine.
Cleveland was a pretty shitty team before LeBron got there.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're a pretty shitty team when LeBron's off the floor.
Yeah, it's true.
Can Kyrie Irving be the best player on a championship team?
No.
No.
No, he can't be. So him wanting to be the man is
not
him
yet.
acquiescing to him not winning, essentially, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Without LeBron on the floor, they fall apart. It's absurd. And they have talent on their team. They should be better than they are without him.
I'm not sure I'd even put him in the top 5 point guards wise.
Point guard?
Curry, Paul, Westbrook in no particular order. John Wall.
And
regular season Kyle Lowry.
why not postseason Kyle Lowry?
You know why.
Because he's atrocious
He's terrible.
in the postseason. Doesn't make any
Right,
sense.
and we do get caught up in Kyrie Irving stepping up his game
in
in
the
the clutch
finals.
moments. And
Yeah.
that's
That's a
definitely
critical-
a skill, and that's a critical
It's a
thing
skill
to have.
that the best players have.
Right? And sometimes we get too wrapped up, myself included, in that skill and his being able to score really whenever he wants.
Right.
But
I personally think that Kyrie Irving is the second best one-on-one scorer in the NBA, behind only Kevin Durant. And Kevin Durant's only higher than him because literally no one can block his jump shot. Because he's 7 feet tall and he shoots like he's a 2, but that's besides the point.
yeah, but Irving, I don't think can carry an offense by
No.
himself. He's a really good second guy
So
because he can create for himself once it gets to that point.
I completely agree. So let me throw this out there. What team instantly becomes way better if they get Irving? Which team is the team that should be really rallying to get Kyrie right now?
Spurs.
The Spurs. So are you serious?
Yeah,
The
that's
Spurs.
serious.
Okay. So how does Kyrie improve the Spurs? What does he do for their lineup that makes them kind of more dangerous?
He gives them an instant scoring option when Kawhi has to give the ball up.
Would that hurt their team? They're all about team offense. That's what they do. So if you bring in a one-on-one guy like
It
Kyrie,
hasn't been team offense the last couple of years.
that's a fair
Since
point.
Kawhi took over.
That's a fair point.
And that's a testament to Popovich, right? It used to be Dave Robinson and Tim Duncan Twin Towers as post game, and then it was Tony Parker and Manu and Tim Duncan, and then for the last championship 2014 it was like the quick passing, ball movement stuff, and now it's back to more Kawhi Leonard pick and rolls, Kawhi ISOs. He's controlling it.
So if you add Kyrie Irving to this, kind of Spurs team, how do you think they stack up in terms of finishing this year? Where do you think they finish?
Second in the West.
Second in the West, even if you add Kyrie Irving. You don't
Yeah.
think that pushes them past the Warriors?
No.
Interesting.
No, you got to play defense at some point, buddy.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who were you thinking?
Who's I thinking?
Yeah. Who do you think should be most rallying to get him?
I don't really know. I don't really think he can go to any team and instantly make them a contender with anyone in the West. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, he can't make a team that's not a contender.
Oh, what team should be rallying for him?
Teams that need extra scoring help. Not extra shooting help.
Extra scoring help.
Extra scoring help. He can shoot, but that's not the point.
I mean, I'm not 100% sure what team would be best. That was kind of a genuine question. But that wasn't a prepared thing.
Right, remember
But,
in the conference finals last year, Tony Parker is hurt. He's going to be 34, 35. This year, I could be totally wrong. Jonathan Simmons, who they don't have anymore,
Right, really stepped up and
Was-
did okay.
was
I thought
the
he did
first
okay.
option.
I thought he did okay for
He
being
did
the first
okay.
option.
But you don't want Jonathan Simmons being your first option in the conference finals.
Right, that's a good point. The team got thrashed. It wasn't
Yeah.
even close. I thought Jonathan Simmons did his best.
You want to create scoring. Irving does that by himself.
So let's talk about the Spurs for a quick second.
Sure.
What do you think they do with Aldridge?
Oh, they should trade him.
Well, what do you think they should try to get? Do you think the Aldridge trade is what happens if they ship Kyrie to the Spurs and Aldridge goes back to Cleveland?
Well, Aldridge would have to move to a third team, probably.
Right, because I don't think Cleveland would want Aldridge. I don't think he would really fit into
I
there.
don't think anybody wants him anymore.
Right, he used to be an all-star, right? I remember him being good when we were younger.
Yeah, he was good. We talk about this sometimes. He reminds me a bit of Greg Monroe of the Pistons.
Sure.
And
Well,
we
not
used-
of the Pistons, of the Bucks.
of the Bucks now. And we used to say of Greg Monroe that we've never seen anybody's skill set become
so obsolete so quickly. Greg Monroe, his first year in the league, was promising, like, kind of pounded out type of,
Right.
power forward center guy. Not really center, power forward. But now power forwards have to be able to dribble and shoot, and that's just not him.
It's not Aldridge either. And what
Right.
kills Aldridge is, let's just talk about the Warriors because that's who they're competing against.
Mhm.
He's going to be having to guard Draymond Green.
He
He can't
can't
stay in
guard.
front of Draymond Green.
Right.
And if you can't score on Draymond Green, like we saw he can't,
Right.
then what good are you?
Exactly.
Right? Draymond Green's like 4 inches shorter than you. You have to be able to score on him.
You have to be able to post him up.
And he couldn't.
He's not. It's not just that he's 4 inches shorter. Aldridge also has something like 30 pounds on him in terms of like muscle mass. He has to be able to post him up, and he just could not.
No.
And that's partially a testament to Green's defense.
Oh, absolutely
post defense.
is,
He's
but-
an incredible defender. But just when you're that physically imposing, you need to be physically imposing.
When you're paid to score on Draymond Green,
And you don't do it.
then what are you being paid for?
Right, exactly.
Right, yeah. Anyway, why don't we take a quick break and come back in a little bit.
You gonna see the Emoji Movie tomorrow? I am. TJ Miller is one of my favorite comedians, and I think he's really
TJ
good.
Miller is a very good voice
Yeah.
actor.
TJ Miller
I
is
like
a
him.
great voice actor. I don't know why he's doing this. This movie is so below him, I feel like. But
It really seems like it.
maybe he's doing this to like stay humble. You know what I mean? Like
Maybe he just needs the money.
He's been putting out really good stuff.
He just can't afford like
His
food
stand up
anymore.
is hilarious, and he's like, I need to humble myself. It's like a heat check in basketball.
a heat check.
He's like throwing this up to see if it hits, and it's not going to, but like maybe it will.
Maybe it will.
Yeah.
Speaking of heat checks, Paris Saint-Germain. Again, not a whole lot substantive has happened, so we'll talk about speculation. This is a story that died a little bit as the week progressed, but it's still one worth noting. PSG came second last season behind Monaco, exited in the round of 16 in the Champions League in that 5-goal and 5-minute heartbreaker.
Oh yeah, that was really
crazy.
cool. I don't even watch soccer, and I appreciated that.
High expectations in recent years. Bit of a down year last year, and that might trigger a big time spending spree. PSG is reportedly very close, or they were, quote unquote, very close to bringing in Neymar from Barcelona and Alexis Sanchez of Arsenal. That would be quite a summer haul. Imagine a front line of Neymar, Sanchez, Edison, Cavani.
Wait, they didn't get the Neymar thing through yet?
Not
Or-
yet.
Oh.
No. No, it's... People have been saying like 90% there, 90% there, and then nothing happens.
People have been talking about it so much, I just kind of assumed it happened already.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
If they do get Neymar, would they get over that European quarterfinal hump? I'd have to think no. At least the first year, they still don't really have the defenders to do it. The midfield and front line would be pretty devastating. As a general rule, this might sound stupid, I don't believe in a team's ability to get it done in big time until I see it. Right? Or in like situation.
Define. Elaborate.
In the situation where they're like stuck, where a team is stuck. I won't
back against the wall? Or what do you mean?
No. I am not going to believe in the Capitals' ability to get out of the second round until I see it.
Okay.
I was not going to believe in the Clippers' ability to get out the second round.
Until you saw it.
Until I see it.
And now we're never going to see it.
So I was right not to believe in it. I won't believe in the Nationals' ability to make a World Series, to bring it all together with this group until I see it.
Sure.
Same way with this team. They, with those Ibrahimovic years, they won 4 titles in a row. Champions League quarterfinal, they bowed out every time. 4 years in a row. I think at some point, if evidence points to them not being able to do it, I'm just going to choose to not think that
believe.
They can.
That makes sense.
Right?
That makes sense. I mean, if a team can't follow through, then they can't follow through. You know, I don't know a lot about soccer, but that just makes perfect sense to me. You know, you never want to bet on a team before you see them, that they have done it before.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why I always expect to see, like, the Spurs in the finals is because, you know, they always go deep into the playoffs. So regardless of their lineup, I just kind of associate that team with success. So I understand why the same thing would be applicable kind of to the soccer world here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And teams just have walls sometimes. And maybe these moves will get them past that. Is Neymar making the right move? This story kind of parallels the Kyrie Irving one.
In Messi's shadow?
In a big way. Neymar has been in Messi's shadow. At 25 years old, Neymar is at the point where he wants to take the next step for his career. He wants to improve to be on the same level as Messi. Because right now when you watch them on the field, it's like LeBron and Kyrie, maybe not as pronounced as that. He wants to take the next step in his development as a player and the next step in his development as his brand.
So we talked about this on the last kind of player movement thing we talked about with Kyrie. Is Neymar good enough to be the best player on a championship team?
No. And that's going into the next thing that I'll get to in a second. He does want to be considered on the same level as Messi. Obviously he's not. I think he knows that he's not. He needs to play for and against better players. I don't think you can get much better than Barcelona. I'm not sure he's going to improve drastically playing in France.
Do you think he has the potential to be as good as any other player in the league from what we've seen so far?
You never want to rule anything out, but
sure.
It seems to me like he came on in a big way and he's been stuck here. Or not stuck here, but he's been stuck kind of just there for a long time.
And you think that's part of the reason why he's making this change?
It could be to shake things up. We don't know if it's going to happen.
Sure.
I think if he really wants to get better, then maybe he should just stay at Barcelona. That's where a lot of players, I guess I shouldn't say a lot of players have left to try to take the next step, get out of the shadows of some of the bigger guys. You asked me if Neymar can be the best player on a championship team, and I say no. Just watching Barcelona last couple of years, it hasn't really been Neymar that's stepping up in the big moments. It's been Messi. And maybe...
Well, you would expect that, right? Because he's not the guy yet.
He's not the guy. And maybe given a chance, he can be the guy. But I've seen him seem to shrink in too many moments.
Okay.
If that makes sense. In terms of which guy would be the bigger move for PSG, Neymar, definitely going forward and for the future. But if you want to win right now...
I forgot how to drink for a second.
That's okay. Everyone forgets. I if you want to win like right now, I think Sanchez would be a bigger move for them. Maybe they can't win right now, but this could be just being biased because I've watched Arsenal a lot the last couple of years, and Sanchez is a guy that he can take the whole team on his back. It's like, all right, we're gonna do this, right? Even if he's a ball hog, he can be the man in the big moments, and Neymar has not done that yet. He's super flashy, doesn't always get the job done to me.
All right.
I put more money on Sanchez being more important to PSG's record this year, if they are able to get both of them. What's interesting about this is that both players put their first names on the back of their uniforms.
I mean,
would you like to see that more in other sports?
If given the opportunity, yeah. I mean, LeBron wearing a jersey just says LeBron on the back.
What about Bryce Harper wearing a jersey that just says Bryce?
Bryce? That would be so... I mean, if any other player did it, it would be lame. If Bryce Harper did it, it would be like savage.
Bryce.
It just says Bryce across the back. Oh my God, that'd be so cool. Could we, a while ago in the XFL, great football league.
I wouldn't say great.
They put nicknames on the back. I feel like that should be, accepted in professional sports of all types.
No, not nicknames.
Yeah, nicknames.
No.
Yes. Imagine LeBron walking out with King James.
He did.
On his back? He did that?
In Miami, there were a few games that...
And he played with that on his back?
They all had nicknames.
I can't believe I missed that. That's such a cool thing. That's so cool. Imagine Calvin Johnson walking out of the field with a Megatron jersey. That would be so sick. Oh my God. That'd just be the best thing ever.
That would be pretty cool.
Kevin Durant could wear like a snake emoji on his back or something.
Stop it. Stop it. No, this will be interesting to see if it happens. Probably won't, because they have to pay just an obscene amount of money to get it done. It's like reportedly 250 million euros or something like that. For one player.
For one player?
For Neymar.
What? Oh my God, it's so much money.
It's a lot of money.
For how long a contract?
Well, I guess I don't know what his contract situation is.
So much money.
Well, I guess...
Too much money. That's the point. Too much money. There's no salary cap in this, right?
No, there's no salary cap.
They could just pay it out if they wanted, I guess.
They could, but
they really want to
win.
They'd
have to pay it, though.
Yeah, they'd have to pay it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of money.
I don't know what contract length they've reportedly been offering him. I'm sure it's long.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Moving on. The Team USA.
Yes, Team USA.
Team USA won the Gold Cup last night against Jamaica.
Mm-hmm.
Were you impressed by this team's performance?
Well, just let me say something. I want to preface this. I don't watch a lot of soccer, but I will watch any opportunity for America to assert its dominance over another country, which usually doesn't happen in soccer. So I was happy to see him win last night, but I just want to mention that this whole tournament is undercut by the fact that the premier team in the tournament, probably the best team that was invited to play in the Gold Cup, which is Mexico, right?
Mm-hmm.
Widely regarded as the best team, didn't even show up. They sent a B team, right? Their second or third team, right?
Yeah, and to be fair, the U.S. also did that, so I wasn't expecting a whole lot going in.
But I just think it kind of cheapens the whole thing, Teams doing this, teams sending, it just shows that people don't give a crap about this tournament at all. This tournament is just so unimportant that I wouldn't say I'm impressed by the U.S. winning. It's just, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's like a preseason
And
game.
I certainly wasn't impressed with their performance. This tournament was supposed to be looking for depth for next year's World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
And the short answer is that there is none. Kyrie Irving was supposed to be big time. I know he's young. He doesn't yet look like he has the feel of when to turn, when to hold his runs, and a lot of times he just ends up just kind of disappearing for minutes at a time. He was disappointing all tournament. Some of the guys that were getting high praise. Some of the guys that were getting high praise. Morris, Paul Areola. They seemed like they were just in there because they ran around really fast.
Yeah. You know, I was watching with some people last night.
Yeah.
And they mentioned that the problem with U.S. soccer is that we rely way too heavily on athleticism. We value that over skills, even.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a developmental problem throughout the entire.
It seemed like Morris and Areola weren't doing a lot. And obviously I couldn't do it, right?
Right.
But they weren't doing a whole lot that I couldn't say, I couldn't try to do that, right?
Right.
Like Morris just runs in straight lines. I could try to do that.
Right. And then we also have to keep in mind, I think that this is at least an important thing. You know, Jamaica's goalie was injured too. Like
Jamaica.
It was our B team against an injured goalie. Like it's the whole thing.
Jamaica's best player is their goalie.
And he got injured.
They're ranked 76th by the FIFA World Rankings.
Like this is just not impressive at all. And that was a hard fought game. You know, I watched. You know,
you
both
cannot
teams
tell me that as bad as the U.S. is, that
we're that close to Jamaica.
That they're backups, and not even all our backups.
Right.
Like half of our backups.
Some of our players were playing in that game, like a
not
significant number.
Jamaica. Yeah. The only guys that were impactful in that game were the guys that they brought in, the Dempseys, the Altidores,
right.
Bradley.
The guys that are, you know, actually on the team.
The guys, right. And I guess that says something that those guys are good. Right?
Yeah, they're better than the rest of our players, and they're better than the Jamaican players.
But at this moment, the players we were looking at to see if they could be impactful, they are not. Right. And that does not really bode well forward.
You know, I don't really know anything about Jamaica. You know,
my entire anything about Jamaica.
My entire, you know, extent of my knowledge of Jamaica comes from the movie Cool Runnings, and that's ignorant of me. It is, because I've never looked into, you know, like Jamaican sports or anything. But you know, the fact that they're not relevant in soccer and we're beating them and kind of expect them to be happy about it. No, you don't expect them. You know, it's a bad team. We beat a bad team. We beat a bad team.
And you played a bad game.
And we played poorly while doing it. So that there's literally no reason to be excited. At all.
I'm not. People are like, oh, Jordan Morris is so sweet for scoring that goal.
Right,
It was a very nice goal. But also came off a cross that hit a defender first, and then Dempsey.
Right.
And then he kicked it.
It hit two guys. It was, you know, it wasn't lucky in the sense that you know, that type of thing happens in soccer a lot.
Right.
So, you know, it's not lucky in that sense, but you just happened to be in the right place at the right time.
Right.
And it was a very nice, you know, strike into the...
Which is interesting because I'd forgotten he was on the field. Right.
Maybe that's how he got him. He kind of disappeared and then just kind of worked his way down the field slowly. If you watch the game tape, he's actually like crawling, like army crawling. He's got like a camo blanket on to kind of like disguise himself.
Yeah, something needs to change with the U.S. developmental soccer program. And certainly when I was growing up, I was like, my teams are more relying on athleticism than actually playing too.
Yeah.
So it's not like I can talk about it in a bad way, but that's the way a lot of these things are going. Even with see the way like AAU basketball is going.
Yeah,
it's like a pickup game out there, and
pickup games are fun and all, but like, they're awful to watch.
It's fun to watch in 5-second chunks.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's fun to watch when someone runs down the court and, you know, throws down a dunk, or it's fun to watch when someone runs down and scores a goal that one time.
Yeah, but you're missing a lot of how you're supposed to be playing the game.
Right. What you also get is the 500 turnovers and the, you know, the hero ball.
Yeah.
You know, it's,
Yeah.
So lots of bad stuff. Lots of bad stuff out of America.
Not impressed.
Disappointed in you, America.
Not impressed with America.
I expect you to be
today.
better.
Clint's a baller, though.
Yeah.
Clint's a baller.
He comes onto the field and you know he's a savage. Comes on the pitch, as I have understood it's called. I don't know why.
I never was told why either.
Yeah, pitch.
Pitch.
Anyway.
Yeah.
When we come back, we'll be talking about a different type of pitch.
Very well done.
The baseball pitch, and which pitchers are going to be moved to the
Oh
trade
my
deadline.
gosh.
Baseball?
Baseball.
Yeah, MLB.
Baseball. The Dodgers have looked like world beaters.
Yeah.
You'd certainly hope so, given their payroll. It's the highest in the league.
Money.
Money pays. We talked about this last week, how good they are.
Right. They're just, again, beating people.
The last team to win a World Series without making any sort of deadline moves was the '98 Yankees.
Oh, wow. That's a fun stat.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the Yankees, widely regarded as the best team this side of World War II.
Sure. Also,
right.
maybe the other side of World War II, too.
Well, not the '98 Yankees.
Oh, right. Right.
I'm trying to think of if any other teams were like...
As good?
Were supposed to be as good.
I don't know.
Certainly, according to statisticians, they weren't. Those Yankees ELO ratings for the first 4 months.
Oh, and if you don't know what an ELO rating is, don't feel bad. I didn't know either.
I'm not entirely sure.
Essentially, it's just a stat that can be used for any competitive sport that rates the skill of a team over another team. Is the attempt.
Very fancy stuff. I don't know what to get into it. Their ELO ratings through the first 4 months are rivaled and bested only by these Dodgers. With the deadline approaching, do the Dodgers even need to make a move, and should they?
No, they don't need to make a move.
They don't need one, but should they?
Should they? I think that they shouldn't, because they don't need to. Don't fix what isn't broken. And I know Clayton Kershaw is kind of broken, right? He's
Justin Verlander.
He's out 4 to 6 weeks. But why trade either players or prospects or anything when he's going to come back before the playoffs and he's going to have plenty of time to shake the rust off?
Yeah, I don't think they're going to, or they should go after a starting pitcher. I think if they're going to do anything, they'll look at a reliever.
Bullpen. Bullpen is where it's at. Bullpen is what you have to have to win in the playoffs.
People have been talking about them making a move for Orioles closer Zach Britton and moving him to be like the setup guy. So you can have a pretty killer combination going down the road. Some of these contracts are real dicey, though.
What, on LA?
No, on other teams.
Oh, on other teams, right. Like, Verlander's contract is incredibly difficult to move because of how much the Tigers are paying.
And especially with how much they're already paying their guys.
Right.
It seems difficult for them to make a move.
They're not going to be able. Their payroll is only going to increase if they make a deal because there's no reason for them to make a deal that isn't for a player that will significantly improve their team. So if they're worried about increasing their payroll, which they might not be, but if they are, then they just should sit tight and they still have a really good chance at winning a championship this year.
Yeah. I read a 538 article that talked about the top 5 to 6 teams' ELO ratings being significantly higher than they are in a normal year. Why aren't people up in arms about competitive balance?
I feel like people are just used to competitive balance not really being a thing in baseball.
Yeah.
For so long, the Yankees just shat on everyone. They just decimated people.
Yeah, it's hard to spin this any other way.
Boston was really good for a while, and then they were really bad for a while. Everyone knows when the season starts, essentially who's going to make the playoffs. There can be 1 or 2 surprises.
Yeah.
And it's not that way in a lot of sports, but I feel like it's especially that way in baseball.
The thing about baseball is after the wild card game, there's only 4 teams on each side.
Right. That are really contenders.
Well, that are contenders. In the playoffs, there's only 4 teams on each side, so it doesn't matter.
I'm sorry. After the wild card game. Yes, you are correct. I'm sorry. I misheard you.
Yeah, after...
there's literally only 4 teams.
There's only 4 teams left, so you're 6, 7, 8, who cares?
Right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're
Not
like
in
the
it.
6th best guy in the league.
Yeah.
In the NBA, you got a 6th best team going in the playoffs as a 3 seed, maybe a 2 seed.
You never know what's gonna happen.
Anything can happen.
Probably won't, but
but anything can happen, and there's that excitement, and that's prevalent too. And even like football, we see 6 seeds go deep into the playoffs sometimes. So you don't really see that as much in baseball, and I feel like that's why people just don't care as much because it's never really been there.
Yeah, and until there's a salary cap, it probably won't be.
Right.
So.
And there never will be a salary cap either because there'll never be a salary cap.
Why do you say that?
Because of all the fans that care about stupid tradition, I understand tradition is important.
That's
I really
a very
do.
good point.
But of all the fans that care about keeping traditions, no matter what, even when there are obvious benefits from changing things, baseball is the most hard nosed. I feel like baseball fans, baseball culture is the most resistant to change out of any sport, and that's not like an objective thing. I can't objectively say that. You know? This is my perception, and I very much. It's
not always a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing all the
Sometimes
time.
it is.
But I don't know. I feel like a salary cap should be in all sports, right? I feel like all sports should have a salary cap. It's the small market teams. We wouldn't be hearing about the Timberwolves. I mean, they're not a small market team, but they're not nearly as big as LA. LA would never be bad. LA would never be bad.
And it makes
in
salary
any
caps
sport.
make it more interesting that contenders can come from anywhere.
Right. And
right. You put a few pieces together here, then you're like, oh, these guys might be interesting.
Right.
Right. If you put a few pieces here or there in Oakland, you're like, oh, these guys might be interesting for a year until they have to sell all their dudes again.
Right.
Right. We rip on Oakland too much. That's the reality of their situation.
Right, the reality of the situation is they're never going to be the best team in the league consistently because they can't.
They cannot.
They don't have money.
Yeah.
It's just so ridiculous. Salary caps make off seasons more fun too. Because in baseball, it's just who's going to pay this guy the most money. You know what I mean? That's what it's all about.
Right. In salary cap sports. It's more about the NFL less so because they just cut people left and right.
Right.
But in the NBA and the NHL, it's more about
how you can get the most value
together.
Yeah.
Right? It's like a puzzle.
Right. And that's so cool.
And baseball is more like those things at Chuck E. Cheese where it just blows up money. You try to grab as fast as you can. That's how I envision this.
It's also, I feel like part of that is teams don't need to be as intricately built in baseball. The team chemistry is important, but so many of the actions in baseball are individualistic things.
Baseball is an individual sport masquerading as a team sport.
Right. You can really just pick and choose the best players. Well, in other sports, you need to worry about team chemistry.
And fit.
Right, and fit.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a system. I mean, baseball teams have systems, but not to the same degree that hockey teams or football teams are.
No. Yeah, because if some of your best players are pitchers, 4 out of 5 games you don't have one of your best players.
I don't know what it is with me and water today. I just keep spilling on myself.
You gotta learn how to drink.
I think it's because I bumped my lip.
Let's play a game. Let's play a game called Sell or No Sell. With the trade deadline quickly approaching, talk about some teams that should sell or shouldn't sell. Just real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Rangers. Yu Darvish, Jonathan Lucroy, mostly are the big prizes. Yu Darvish has a no-trade list, which you alerted me about.
Right.
Which is interesting. It's like a no-fly list, but different.
And the no-trade list is essentially, we looked at it, it's the 7 worst teams.
It's bad teams, Chicago and Cleveland.
Right.
Because he can't be Kevin Durant, apparently.
Right, you can't just go to the best team.
They have some good players in Odor and Gallo to try to build around. I say sell.
Yeah, sell.
Sell.
I like selling. Selling is more fun.
Go with those young guys.
Selling is exciting. when you sell something, you get cash back, and cash is
Yeah,
infinite
cash you can use for other
possibilities.
things.
Yeah.
I'm quickly becoming afraid that we're going to say sell for most of these teams.
I'm going to say sell for pretty much every team.
Kansas City Royals!
Because I just love seeing players move. It's so much fun.
Kansas City Royals, interesting situation. They're in the wild card spot right now.
Right.
On an 8-game win streak. They beat the Tigers 16-2 last night.
Yeah, they did. That was painful.
But listen to the names that are going to be free agents at the end of this year. Eric Hosmer, Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, Tali Feliz, Cetus Escobar,
See the names.
Jason Vargas. You're going to have to pay pretty big for those guys.
Right, but those people make up the majority of the payroll that you have going right now.
Yeah.
You might be able to re-sign most of them. I don't know how many of them are restricted. Is that a thing in baseball?
No.
Restricted free agents? No. God, baseball needs to up their game.
All right, what do you say? Sell or no sell?
I'm gonna say sell. If you're gonna lose that many people, then you gotta.
I'm going to say you got to sell
trade.
some of them.
Yeah, you gotta trade some of
You
them.
need stuff back.
Maybe not Hosmer. Or,
If you think about the...
actually, maybe Hosmer. You could probably get a lot for
you
him.
get a lot.
Yeah, sell.
Even if they're in the wild card spot?
Yeah, even if they're in the wild card spot, because we talked about how they're only
Guaranteed one postseason game.
guaranteed one postseason
Yeah.
game, and it's not really an accomplishment.
Yeah,
really,
you have to look at it in terms of value.
right.
And
You
you
have
get a
to-
lot more value.
If you sell,
If you think about the nature of the Royals' success, it's because all their farm guys came into their own at
great
at the
farm
right time,
system,
right?
Yeah,
And maybe they should just try to do that again.
right. I think they should sell not all of these guys, but some of these guys
Yeah.
are prospects. Worst case scenario, you miss the playoffs this year, and you have solid improvement to your farm system.
Mm-hmm.
And best case scenario, you make the playoffs and you have a solid improvement to your farm system. So, right? That's
Angels.
really
Sell or
Angels.
no sell?
Sell, but only Mike Trout.
Nope, sell, but everyone but Mike Trout. You don't sell a generational player.
I don't.
You don't
think,
do it.
No, I don't think they should sell Mike Trout.
Not yet.
He's their franchise player.
Yeah.
But I really don't know what the Angels should do. The team is kind of not great.
They thought they were going to be
They're just kind
okay, and they're not.
They're not. So, yeah, maybe sell. I don't know. It's always tough when you have a player like Mike Trout.
Yeah.
You really want to believe you can build around him, and they've been trying to build around him. So you want
Yeah.
to believe that that's trying to work. Hopefully it clicks.
You don't want to run out of time.
But you don't want to miss your window.
Yeah.
So, I'm not really sure what the Angels should do. But I'm going to say don't sell. Wait it out.
Okay.
Wait it
That's
out.
fair. That's fair. You want to wait on Mike Trout?
Yeah.
I'm going to say so. I'll get them all out except for Trout. Pirates, do they move Andrew McCutchen? How do we feel about...
Is the question, will they move Andrew McCutchen or should they move Andrew McCutchen?
Well, what do you think?
I think they're going to, because
so?
the Pirates always do this. They get a young good player, they make him one of the better players in the league, and then they trade him for prospects. And then one of those players comes up, and they trade him for prospects, and trade him for prospects. And
Andrew McCutchen is 30 now.
I mean, he's 30 now, so he's not young anymore. But
Yeah.
they always do this. They always trade the best player for prospects. It happens all the time. I can't remember any examples right now, which is kind of hurting my point here. But I think they should. I think they should keep him just because, they're not gonna be better anytime soon. I don't think they're gonna be one of the best teams in the league. They're 4 games above 500.
Yeah, but what if you can get a bunch of prospects for him?
I mean, that is an appealing thing, but really
Yeah.
the team loses all its marketability if you move Andrew
Yeah.
McCutchen. He's really their all-star player.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna say hold Andrew McCutchen.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
I'm going to say sell for the prospects, but that brings us to the next thing. For the Marlins, I'm going to say don't sell Giancarlo Stanton. Because for the Marlins right now, marketability is much more important, and that Laurie is trying to sell the team. And you don't want to try to sell a team with no appeal.
Right. You lose Giancarlo Stanton, and that could seriously devalue your franchise.
Also, who's going to take Giancarlo Stanton?
How big is his contract? It's big, right?
It's $325 million. I think he's in I think he's in the third or fourth year of a 14-year deal or something.
14-year deal. That's the one thing about baseball.
Something obscene like that.
That's 13-year deal.
Yeah.
Oh, he has an opt-out.
He's an opt-out after 2020.
What?
Right?
That's so ridiculous.
He can opt out at any time after 2020. He's an unrestricted free agent in 2029.
That's so ridiculous. That,
So technically, he has money on the table until
if you're a
2029.
professional athlete, how can you commit 14 years of your? I guess you can do it for $325 million. That's how you can do it.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. You do it for $325 million. Anyway.
Yeah. Sign me up.
Oh my God. All right. What about the Mets?
So Marlins don't sell. Mets.
Team is
The
not
fall
been
from
great.
grace is completed.
Everyone thought they were going to be real good.
Well, they made a World Series.
They did make a World Series. I thought they were going to keep being good. I was excited for them to be good. They've been really bad for a while.
Like those 3 or 4 pitchers that they all had
Yeah.
right in a row there. Syndergaard, DeGrom, Matt Harvey.
So what did they do?
Matt Harvey sucks. I think the fire sale is imminent. I'm going to burn it all down. What do you think?
I really have no idea what they're going to do. I really don't know anything about them.
Never know with New York.
I really don't know anything
Anything
about the
can
Mets.
happen in New York.
But anything can happen in New York. It is the land of possibilities, and they haven't had a good sports team in years. Right?
New York Giants.
I said good sports team.
Okay. Speaking of good teams or bad teams, are the San Francisco Giants a bad team or just a bad year?
I'm going to say bad team because they always do this. They always, I feel
Okay.
like the Giants kind of are riding like a wave in that they have like a really good year every 4 or 5 years, and they just kind of fade into, not obscurity, but just like, just not goodness.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly why it happens.
Yeah.
So sell or not sell? I don't know what they have to sell right now. I haven't really been following them this year. What would they be selling?
Like Brandon Belt, Denard Span, they probably wouldn't let Buster Posey go. I don't think this is a bad team, but it is an incredibly old team.
Well, old teams in baseball aren't necessarily bad.
If you look at who the best teams are right now,
They are the younger
it's
teams.
the younger teams.
Right.
Right. I'm gonna say don't sell for the Giants because I think it's still a good team. And
I
with
think they
some,
got
of these,
another
with-
push in them.
with some of these guys, I don't think that really they're gonna get a ton out of it. Ton of value. Oh, hello.
Hey, JoJo.
You've been invited. Moving on.
To another team that is clad in orange and black,
Nice, Bernie.
Baltimore Orioles.
Baltimore Orioles, sell or no sell?
Sell. Because fuck the Orioles.
I say don't sell for more rational reasons. The team is good. Well, they could be good. You don't need a full teardown. But the rotation guys that they thought they could bank on, like Ubaldo Jimenez, are not good. So they need an overhaul in the pitching rotation. You don't need to sell all your players, though. This has been Sell or No Sell.
Speaking of money.
Speaking of money, do you want to just go right into it?
Yeah, sure, why not?
Yeah.
NCAA stuff.
NCAA stuff. Prepare to be upset. North Carolina is scheduled to appear before an NCAA Infractions Committee in August regarding its academic fraud case. Supposedly, Roy Williams championship banners, or just the latest one, I don't know,
I think it's just the latest one.
is in jeopardy of being taken down. Would this kind of academic infraction mar the accomplishment for you?
I'm sorry, you're telling me there's academic fraud in the NCAA? People take
No, they
People take
don't. That's why
classes-
there's an infractions committee to shut this down, Bernie.
people take classes that aren't actually real classes,
Oh my god.
and they get
what?
And they get passing grades for not
What?
doing any of the work.
What?
This happens.
History won't remember this.
UNC is despicable for being the only school that's doing this right now.
History won't remember that Louisville had a bunch of strippers. They still got a championship.
Right.
Who cares?
And if the NCAA isn't going to take away a championship for that, then they're not going to take a championship away for this. right?
I hate to be this guy because it sounds bad, but who really cares about the academic stuff? The NCAA doesn't. The NCAA is the world's greatest illusionist, right? I promise you the coaches don't care about the academic stuff.
Well, I think some coaches do care.
Okay,
and those coaches have bad teams.
It was unfair to say the coaches. The NCAA doesn't care about the academic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The NCAA doesn't really care about helping these kids. You want to know why national title games are on Monday nights?
Why?
Do you think they're on Monday nights because it helps the student comes first athlete to study up and get rest before their Tuesday classes? You think that's why they're on Monday nights?
Yeah, I think that.
Actions speak louder than words. The NCAA can say that they care about academics all they want. They don't.
The system also just shows that they don't care about academics.
They don't.
You get the guys coming in here for 1 year. What are they going to do? I know that's not an NCAA call; it's an NBA thing.
Right.
But at the same time, it's not like NCAA is doing anything about it.
I don't really care if they go to class, but the NCAA does, because everything that they're built on is the lie that student comes before athlete.
But if they
which they've shown they don't believe in.
Right. So even at this point, if they decided not to care about that at all,
you know why?
Would it really change anything? Everyone knows that they don't care about it.
You know why they pretend that?
So that way they can be in the right, and that they don't
have to pay them.
Have to pay the athletes.
They don't have to pay them
because they're not professionals; they're students.
Right. And they're students, and you don't have to pay the students. You just have to give them scholarships so they can go to class.
Right. That's fair. I feel like
that's what this whole big lie is built on.
Yeah.
So that they don't have to pay them.
So they can get free athletes.
Yep.
Free entertainment.
Yeah. That's what it is. It's a money scheme. The NCAA should be ashamed of themselves.
Now, how do you feel like money should be handled in NCAA? In the NCAA, should more money go to the best players?
Ooh.
Much like the NBA?
Ooh, I don't know.
Because that could, and I know this is one of the worst arguments. It could hurt the integrity of the game. Great. Right now, players go where they want to play because that's where they want to play, Grant. Money does not tarnish the game of basketball in the NCAA.
Money doesn't tarnish the game in the NBA.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
So who cares?
Who cares?
Look, if you don't want players to be paid based on
it's
how
not
good they are, which is
not,
something that I do see a lot. I see a lot of people saying this will just allow schools to buy the best players, which is true. It would if they, I think that players should get a flat rate paid for just playing.
Yeah. I don't have fully formed opinions on how they should be paid. And I'm not even sure. Well, I do probably think they should be paid. But what this is about more is the NCAA trying to keep this little bubble pulled together so that they don't have to.
Right.
Right. So that's a lot of money coming on them that they could be using. I don't even know what they use money for.
Do they reinvest? And what is the NCAA? What is the NCAA? What do they do?
I don't know.
They just organize stuff? I really have no idea what the NCAA... I understand what the NBA does as an organization and the NFL.
Right, it is a business, though. Otherwise, title games wouldn't be on Monday nights.
Right. I just really have no idea what the NCAA actually does.
It's a corporation.
Corporations are evil. Just like capitalism.
Not all of them, but this one.
This
one's not evil. It's the same thing all corporations do, but it's foolish for us to think that they care about academics.
No, Grant. All corporations are evil.
No, they're just out for self-interest. All of the magic that is big-time college athletics is built on this lie. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Come on. The NCAA and their infractions committee can suck my ass. That's what I think.
Suck your ass?
They can suck my ass.
Wow, that is an aggressive statement.
Yeah. Infractions committee. Come on. Infractions committee. The entire NCAA is an infraction.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's an infraction of employees' rights. They're employees.
Infractions?
And you're not paying them.
Infractions? They're all infractions. Just infractions?
What
does that even mean?
The corporation is an infraction. I actually don't know what infraction means entirely.
You use that word 7 times.
Violation of a law or set of rules.
So your personal set of rules is what they're violating.
Well, they're violating the the basic construct of employee-employer agreement that you work for money. You create money for your employer, so
and then
you
he
are
gives you some
rewarded
of the money.
with some of it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, that's all I gotta say on that topic.
Yeah. Why don't we take a quick break, and we'll finish up with our last topic real quick.
Okie dokie.
Hey, Bernie.
Hold on. All right, I'm not comfortable yet. I know you think I was doing a bit last time, but I really wasn't. This is like how I find the right spot for the chair. I'm not even joking. I'm particular about how I sit. I'm really not. Like, I saw it in your eyes last time. You thought I was doing a bit, right?
A little bit,
I wasn't. I was just really trying to figure out the exact. I like being at a certain angle with my computer, and I like this thing, my leg just a little bit. Yeah. Gotta make sure my crotch is like my underwear.
Doesn't feel
like,
right without it.
Yeah, my underwear and my khaki shorts need to be distributed properly.
Yeah.
Can't be too bunched up. I think I feel okay now. So
Okay.
Actually, give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. Yeah, now I'm ready. So if you want to do that class.
Speaking of adjusting, it's been a month since the announcement that Marian Hossa of the Chicago Blackhawks is going to put his hockey career on hold indefinitely because of a rare skin condition. Truly unfortunate situation. His Blackhawk teammates were talking about it at the Blackhawks convention on Friday last week, and they're saying,
Don't want to laugh, but that's like a
Yeah.
stupid name.
it's a really dumb name. His teammates were obviously pretty disappointed and upset about this situation. You have to feel for Hossa, and I'm sure his teammates do more than we do. How much do these kind of situations actually affect a team's performance?
I would say significantly, and I would say significantly in one way or the other. It's not necessarily negative.
Interesting.
Depending on the player you lose and the
Okay.
situation you're in.
Yeah.
Because this could really, this is obviously it's a down thing for the team. It turns morale in a negative direction.
Uh-huh.
But they're really, there are instances where a contributor to a team gets injured and the team kind of rallies around that person and it kind of unites the team in a way that they weren't before.
That's a good point.
What comes to mind is Kevin Ware injury in the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He wasn't the star of that team by any stretch of the imagination, but he was a contributor. He would come in, he would score some points. He played decent defense if memory serves.
I really don't remember.
I watched that Louisville team because they played Michigan, and so I tried to figure out who the better players were, and I tried to analyze them back then.
Yeah.
And he was a very good player for that team, and the team really kind of rallied around his injury. Now they probably would have won that tournament without that injury happening, but I feel like
you never know.
There definitely was a different air about the team.
Yes.
It could also affect them negatively, very obviously. Chris Bosh had to leave the Miami Heat this year. Had blood clotting issues, and that didn't really affect their season trajectory much. The Heat still finished just about the spot where I thought they would.
Yeah.
So obviously this affects team morale in a negative way, but really how the team responds is up to them.
It's more telling.
Yeah.
You brought up some really good points. This kind of thing, these things happen. And it sucks when these happen. And you have to treat it with sensitivity. But personally, if I had to guess, I would say that players maybe talk about these things more than feel them, especially at a professional level. Right? Because at a professional level, you have, every offseason, you have like half your team leaving. Depends on the sport. You have guys coming in and out, and this is different because he had to quit for reasons that put him in pain or in danger. But it's not uncommon to have teammates leave, and you kind of, as a professional, have to push beyond that and not let it affect you.
That's fair. That's a good point. But earlier in this episode, you made a comment about how winning on your own terms is different from winning. And I feel like it's the same thing about kind of everything. Everyone wants to do everything on their own terms.
Yeah.
And he didn't leave this team on his own terms. When players leave teams professionally, they either do it on the behalf of the club who thinks it's the best move and they trade them, or they leave on their own terms. They make the decision to retire or become a free agent and go somewhere else.
Or they make the decision based on their market value.
Right.
Yeah.
So the situation here, I don't really see that as comparable to a player leaving the team for a different reason, because it's not a matter of the team or the player wanting to leave. It's a matter of an unavoidable thing that's forcing them not to.
That's totally fair.
Yeah.
That's totally fair.
Forcing them not to continue on with the same team. And he has to make this decision.
No, you have to put
your health in front of the game.
Right.
There's actually been some other health-related stuff this week that was really big news.
What was it?
CTE stuff in the NFL.
Oh.
Some really big studies came out.
It was a bad look
Oh,
for
it was
the NFL.
awful. Did you not read these?
I didn't read it.
Oh, you want to talk about putting health before sports? This is like a big issue right now. NFL study. A study was done by Boston College. I don't remember the exact numbers, but it was something like 110 people and 110 football players from all different levels through high school, I think.
Yeah.
Something like 93% of them showed signs of CTE. And out of NFL players, something like 97 of the 98 of the people who were NFL players showed signs of CTE.
It's a really bad look.
Yeah, it's a real bad look.
Yeah.
And the NFL came out and said these studies are important and we need to keep doing them because, this helps us improve our safety. And out of the corner of their eye, I think they see this thing, this CTE, this health train coming, and it's going to hit them hard eventually.
It's coming.
It's coming, and it's coming fast.
I don't think any of us would be surprised if football looks very, very different.
10 years down the road. Exactly. Yeah, I very much agree with that. And it's not just in the people who necessarily get hit every play. It's people, it's some running backs, wide receivers, skill positions as well. Don't really see it in kickers because they're wimps. No, just kidding. I like kickers. It's just a very unfortunate situation that we're, seeing. I mean, I guess it's fortunate that it's a good thing we're acknowledging the risks that football presents.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's unfortunate that the sport we love causes these problems.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So I don't really know how this is all going to play out. It was only last year that the NFL even acknowledged that there's a connection between playing football and
last year
brain injury. Yeah, last year was when they officially opened up and said that this is a real thing. It might have been 2 years ago. It was last year or 2 years ago. Very recently.
But the nature of the game is you
hit
heads with people.
Right. Yeah. You hit.
Oh, that can't hurt.
Right. That can't hurt. That can't hurt your head. That's not bad for your
I've tried
brain.
it before.
Concussions. Oh, concussions are meaningless.
Totally unrelated. You slipped in the shower. All right. Why don't we take a quick break? And we'll be right back.
Come back for the ending segment.
The ending segment.
All right. Welcome to the double bonus.
Have a name for this week at least.
The segment of the show where we talk about the best performance of the week, the worst performance of the week, what we want to see coming up next week, and any closing comments.
Yeah, they're miscellaneous crap.
Heart's desire.
Yeah.
Why
don't we start out with the best performance of the week?
Sounds good.
We have 4 options, as always. Golfers shoot 62 at the Open, lowest score of any major round ever, from what I understand. What SportsCenter tells me. Second option, my boy Clint is a baller. He ties the all-time U.S. men's national team goal lead. He's only one behind Leo Messi for international goals. That would put him second among active players. That's pretty impressive.
That's pretty impressive.
Third option, a young Cincinnati Reds fan, D. Gordon of the Miami Marlins is in the on deck circle.
Right.
Young Reds fan comes over and kicks him in the knee. Fourth option, Jose Altuve is hitting above 500 in the month of July.
I'm going to pick that courageous young Reds fan. It's so great that he has the team spirit to resort to physical violence
He just went over and kicked him.
Just kidding. Violence is never the answer, especially when you're trying to fight a professional athlete like T. Gordon.
To be fair, D. Gordon's pretty skinny.
Yeah, but he's like a professional athlete. Like he's like skinny in regards to like professional athletic skinny. Like
He had a baseball bat in his hand.
yeah. To walk up to a man, a grown ass man with a bat who's practicing swinging the bat.
You gotta love the team spirit though.
Violence is never the answer. But this was a great moment, and it made the game more entertaining.
I'm gonna go with Altuve. Speaking of little people, he is so cute. Altuve is so cute. I love him. One of my favorite players. I think above 500.
Yeah, that's absurd.
That's obnoxious.
You know who's hitting 100 though? No, 100. 1,000 is what I meant to say.
1,000?
Yeah, the guy who's hitting 1,000. It's a kid that kicked T. Gordon. Hit him right in the shin.
He's 1 for 1.
1 for 1.
1 for 1 kicks. All right.
Worst performance of the
week.
week.
Performance of the week. Option number 1. My team, Arsenal, in a friendly, forgets to put one of their strikers on the team sheet and try to sub him in. He's not on the roster. Number 2, a French mayor bets on PSG, loses and has to eat a rat in front of all his residents. Todd Frazier, new Yankees third baseman, in his home debut, first plate appearance, hits into a triple play. And finally, minor leaguer Zach Borenstein pulls a Jose Canseco home run, bounced off the noggin. Who gets worst performance of the week for you?
I would say worst performance is Todd Frazier. Not only is that a pathetic first plate appearance, you get into a triple play. He instantly ended that inning, and he was on offense. And on top of that, the other team, I'm blanking on who he was playing.
Oh, I can't remember.
I can't remember, but that team hadn't had a triple play in like 26 years. It was like the longest drought.
Oh,
in
it's a double whammy.
The MLBs. It was a double whammy. Yeah.
I was watching that game too. The broadcasters were like hyping it up. It's like, all right, it's his first home plate
appearance.
Runners on first and second. Let's see if he can pull through and impress the home fans. You know, he's looking to answer the bell. He's got all his fans and family and friends here from the area because he's from that area, right?
Just instantly hits into a triple play. It's such a great. Love it.
I'm gonna go with the minor league outfielder. I've never played baseball, right?
That's not true. You played baseball.
I did, but
on the baseball team with me in 3rd grade.
Yeah, but like not on a high enough level to know
to understand exactly what's happening.
To track a fly ball that far.
Mm-hmm.
How do you let it bounce off your head
and
then not know where it went? Right? It hit him. He's like looking around where it's gone. It's over the fence, so he can't see it.
Right.
Ah, poor guy.
What are you most excited for this week, Grant?
I'm excited for.
Excited
for baseball's got some pretty good series early next week. We got Chicago Cubs and the Arizona Diamondbacks. One of my favorite teams. Because of Paul Goldschmidt. And also Boston Cleveland is going to be on ESPN twice next week. Monday and Wednesday. What are you most excited for?
I am most excited to watch what happens with Kyrie Irving. I know that's kind of a cop-out answer, but I really want to see. I feel like that's the most interesting thing in sports right now. I feel like MLB regular season games are very boring.
Not a lot of
and not much else is happening right now.
Is happening.
Yeah, not a lot of stuff is happening right now. I'm excited to see what drone racing I can find on TV in the next week. I'm excited to play my PlayStation 4 with my new PlayStation 4 controller and use my PlayStation 4 games. PlayStation send me free stuff. And that's about it.
I totally zoned out at the last second. Anyway, this has been Marginally Qualified. Thank you for watching.
I forgot. I'm excited for the Emoji Movie, right?
Stop it.
Go see the Emoji Movie.
Anyway, this has been Double Bonus, presented by neither PlayStation nor the Emoji Movie. So we should put that out there. I think that's everything we have today. Thank you for viewing this experience.
Bye.